This is the Heather Petero Show, where conversation meets calling. Well, welcome to the Heather Petero Show. My guest today is singer-songwriter based in Douglasville, Georgia. He grew up singing in church. He fell in love with country music early on, and he has carried that love with him through every season of life. While building a successful career in retail leadership, the pull toward writing, recording, and performing music never went away. Over the last couple of years, John has been recording and performing in Nashville and across the Atlanta area, pursuing his craft with clarity and intention. Today's conversation is about balancing leadership, creativity, honoring a lifelong calling, and what it actually looks like to do the work behind the dream. John, welcome to the show.
Hi, Heather. Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, before we get into the deeper stuff, I have to ask, as a general manager, have you ever been tempted to use the store intercom to announce your next gig? I mean, attention shoppers, handbags are 40% off, and there will be a concert near Housewares at 6. I mean, has that ever happened?
I've worked really hard to kind of keep the two separate, but word has gotten out with my employees, and they tend to cheer me on, and they bought my T-shirts and come to some of my shows, and so it's fun, kind of the two worlds commingling. But I've not thought about announcing it over the intercom. I may have to try that.
So you are the general manager at the Dillards at Arbor Place Mall in Douglasville, but you grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, which is known for being a great music city, as well as your alma mater, the University of Alabama Roll Tide. And you grew up at Alberta Baptist Church. So what role did music and faith play in your life growing up?
Yeah, well, it was my really first opportunities to perform in front of crowds was at church, and I was always in youth choir, and actually even before that, I remember, maybe fifth or sixth grade was performing solos in church for different things, and I think the one thing growing up in music at church does for you is it really connects you to the message of the music, and faith is an important part of my life, always has been, and when you it really makes you feel the words you're singing. When you're praising God, you get a feeling from that, and I think some of that carries over into the songs that I write now, because I really try to write songs that mean something, that have that emotional connection, as well as sound well vocally.
So tell us about your first performance. I hear it was kindergarten?
Yeah, so kindergarten graduation, I dressed up in a cowboy outfit and sang Glenn Campbell's Rhinestone Cowboy. So that was, and then also Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver. So that was my first time on stage singing. I was five years old.
Oh, that's awesome. So music has always been there for you, even while you were building a full career outside of it. How did it stay part of your identity during those years?
It was tough, because especially when you're climbing the corporate ladder, you work a lot of hours, a lot of 6-day work weeks, and a lot of 11, 12-hour days. And, but I think one, just always keeping a guitar close by somewhere, that was kind of kept it alive. And really, I started writing songs, in late teens, early 20s, and never really did anything with them. I just kind of wrote for me. And then as time went through, changes in life, and, peaks and valleys, and music always kind of was my emotional output. It's kind of therapy for me. When going through tough times, I write a song about it, and never really, the dream was to get to where I am now, but I never really took action on it then. It was really all about just for me. So.
Well, you live in two very different worlds, the analytical, high-pressure environment of retail leadership and the vulnerable, expressive world of songwriting. And how do those two sides work together?
That's funny. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, because, just quick side story. So when I was a kid, my my little brother was born, and when he started talking, he couldn't. And my family called me John John back then because my dad was John, I was John John, and my brother couldn't say John John, so it came out like Onion, which my uncle Mark thought was hilarious and started calling me Onion. And I also was full head of blonde hair back then, believe it or not. But yeah, so he tormented me calling me Onion, and I hated it. But then as I grew up and now, I kind of describe myself as an onion because there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of, wear a lot of hats. There's a lot of different things. And so whether it's, musically or professionally, I'm pretty diverse, complicated person, I would say.
Well, you've had a successful career for a long time. How long have you worked at Dillard's?
It'll be 15 years at Dillard's this coming May. So, but I've worked retail my entire adult life. Started with a company called Parisian when I was in Tuscaloosa. Just took a part-time job selling shoes. Never intended on making it a career, but it just kind of found me and kept getting promoted. So here I am.
What changed a couple of years ago that made you decide to give music more focused attention again?
Well, I think it's a few things. One, my wife Amy is my biggest fan and encourager, and probably my manager too, I guess. She really helps me. But she kind of pushed this. We started out, just goofing around and doing some stuff on social media, making some little videos and posting. We got good reaction from them, and she kept pushing me to more and more to play. And then God stepped into the picture and made a bunch of little seemingly coincidences turn into a plan and a community. And it started. Our next door neighbors invited us to go to a concert with them to see Joe DiMessina, and this guy named Ray Scott opened up for her, and he hung around afterwards. We talked to him, and he's just an incredible songwriter and musician that's been in Nashville for a long time, and he was playing at another show the next weekend in Griffin, Georgia, and so we thought, well, let's go see this guy again. And over there, he opened up for a guy named Mark Ware, and yeah, so we hung around after the show and talked to Mark, and actually on the spot, Mark and I just clicked. We just clicked, all of us, and he invited me to come with him the next weekend to a show he was doing at a rodeo, and to come up on stage and sing with the band. And so, gosh, that was just the first little spark that I guess reignited that fire inside of me that wanted to be on the stage and perform and make music, and then find out that Mark, y'all went to high school together, and so started taking some vocal lessons, and you helped me not just vocally, musically, but just with my confidence and belief in myself, belief that this was still a viable dream. And so thank you for that. I wouldn't be here without that. So, but yeah, and those kind of coincidences, they just keep happening. I keep meeting people that are connected and building a network of friends and musicians and supporters. So it's been a really fun couple of years.
It's been quite a ride together, and I've really loved watching you blossom. We're connected on social media, and I love getting a John McDuffie post across my Facebook feed, and it's just awesome to see how far you've come in just a few years. It's just amazing. And that's a testament to your hard work, too.
Thank you.
So I have to ask, what is the most country song thing that's ever happened in a retail environment? I'm talking big feelings, drama, or a moment that absolutely deserved a chorus. You got to spill the tea for us.
Well, as you can imagine, in a store with 100 people working, there's drama all the time, and I think some of it, though, probably maybe some of the country song components, maybe there's a lot of little workplace romances that pop up from time to time, and then hearts get broken, and so I don't know. There's probably a country song in that somewhere.
So we're about to listen to this first track, and it's called Wrong Turn. Can you tell us what inspired that lyric?
Absolutely. And so I was going to Kroger here in Douglasville a year or so ago, and there was a guy out there asking for change, and I had a couple of dollars in my pocket. I gave him, and walking away, it just struck me that the guy kind of looked like me. Same build, same complexion, and obviously he looked, very haggard from being homeless. But it just struck me, and I just started thinking, God, I wonder what happened to him that his life went in the direction it went, and mine went in another direction. And so I guess the thought came to me that, he got to a major crossroads in life, and maybe he just took a wrong turn. And that's how the song started. And I think, all of us, are just some bad decisions, some bad circumstances, maybe a health problem, or laid off from your job from being that same person that's homeless. So yeah, that's where Wrong Turn came from. So it's really a special song to me because of that.
Well, great. Let's hear it.
Sometimes it's just too many choices. Sometimes it's just too many voices. Some days it's just too many ways that a man can go wrong. And every road is a one-way street, and the future is just too dark to see. And the only sound is the sound of your voice singing a sad song. And you can't turn around 'cause there's a fire from a bridge you decided to burn. You know you made a mistake, and I hope someday you'll learn. There ain't no right time to make a wrong turn. Had a chance you could get away. Had a chance you decided to stay, 'cause thought staying seemed like more fun. And now you know that you thought wrong, and you sing about it in this song. And the only choice you have now is to run. And the road ahead is lighted by a fire from another bridge you decided to burn. Keep making mistakes, and I hope someday you'll learn. There ain't no right time to make a wrong turn. Looking back now, you can't see the fire from all the bridges that you've burned. You keep making mistakes, and I know you'll never learn. There ain't no right time to make a wrong turn. A wrong turn.
Oh, John, that was a great song. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much. Like I said, it's a really special song. I really, really like that one.
So when you look at where you are now, what are some of the key things have been part of getting your journey to this moment? You mentioned training, and a lot of people believe lessons or training are for kids or beginners. So, what's helped you get here, but from your perspective, someone who's been singing your whole life, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I would tell them, no matter what, training a coach is so important, because part of it is, even people with the most natural talent in the world, they just don't have the knowledge, and learning things like how to breathe correctly and how to phrase things and posture. I mean, there's so many structural things that I've learned that help me get better. I think the other thing that a coach does for you is hold you accountable, and accountable for learning, but also just being persistent. And I think one of the reasons I am where I am now is because of activity, whether it's on social media or going to open mics or anything like that. The other thing, I guess I've become more bold with the confidence that I've gained, where I made a commitment to myself about a year ago. I had an opportunity to sing with somebody, and I don't know, I just didn't quite feel comfortable, so I said no. And then later I regretted it, and I'm like, I'm never going to do that again. If somebody gives me an opportunity to sing anywhere, I'm going to sing. And so I think that kind of persistence has really helped me get to where I am.
Oh yeah, that's important. The big yes. And the first podcast I did just a short little 9-minute, and I talked about the permission to be creative. And a lot of that comes, especially with adult students, is just saying yes, and being aware that you can say yes, and being given the permission to be creative. Because I think we forget that as we grow older. Right. I think kids naturally do that because there is an encouragement to to be imaginative and to be creative. But adults, we don't get daily reminders that it's okay to be creative and to be imaginative. And so saying yes is definitely important.
Absolutely.
So what has intentionally working on your voice given you that you feel like you didn't have before? You mentioned confidence. What about consistency or understanding how the instrument actually works?
Yeah, I think that's huge, and also I think in finding what I consider to be my voice, I think that was a big breakthrough for me, is finally feeling confident, and I guess liking my own voice, and that's a hard hurdle to get over sometimes, because I don't know, we especially recorded voice just sounds different than it does in your head. And until you kind of marry those two things together, where you understand where your voice is coming from and how it's supposed to sound, it can be a challenge. But that definitely, understanding the physiology of the voice really helped me as well, because you hear so many things from different people about, singing from your chest or your head or wherever, but it doesn't mean anything until you actually understand the physiology, I think.
Oh, sure. And we kind of debunked some of those myths on our second episode, where we had Berkeley professor Linda Bolero, and she, we talked about some of the misconceptions of what singers are told, even singing with your diaphragm, and how that is not true.
Right. Right.
And I think I've told you that I had a coach. One of the best advice that I ever got as a student myself in my early years was, I had a wonderful mentor coach who told me, she says, you have to get to the place where you love that girl's voice. And I think I share that with you, that you have to get to that place where you love that guy's voice,
Absolutely.
And it takes time, and it takes body awareness, and those yeses play into that, I think, as well.
Absolutely. Yep. That's so true. And I'm happy to be there, because it is an internal struggle because, I think a lot of, artists they're their own worst critic. I see that in so many people that I meet, that they're not happy with how the song sounds, and some of them are the best performers you've ever heard, and they still are critical of themselves.
Sure. And I think pushing ourselves is always important, but I think there's a lot of imposter syndrome with artists as well. And we don't think we're good enough or worthy enough. And again, that contentment in loving who we are and getting to that space. And I think training can help us get to that space. But at the same time, the reality is we never stop training. And
Right.
we're always studying. We're always studying other artists, their songwriting. We're studying music theory, all of the things that make music so wonderful.
Yeah, and I think just being around other artists too, and especially I really enjoy being around people who I believe are better than I am, because it challenges me to want to keep growing and keep getting better. So it's been a fun journey.
That's awesome. So how does that preparation, you've done all, you've walked this path and all that preparation, how does it show up when you're balancing long work days, recording sessions, or live performances, especially when your plate is already full?
It's that too takes a lot of self-discipline, because it's so easy to say, well, gosh, I'm tired. I'm not gonna get on social media today. I'm just too tired. Or I'm not gonna go to the recording studio. This is my only off day this week. But so I think that's it. I think managing myself is key. And I think too, I'm just hungry. And gosh, I was off yesterday, had to take the car to get worked on and some other things. And I was tired and I was just like, I just don't feel like doing anything today. But you know what? I sat down on the couch, turned the TV on, and I'm like, I felt guilty. I felt like I was cheating myself. I'm like, you got to go work on some music. You got time. You need to do it. And I think that's how I kind of have been able to manage the demands of both things. That I got to again give credit to my wife Amy, because if she says, if I have an opportunity to go somewhere and play music, she's pushing me to go. And she's like, say, hey, are you going to this open mic? Are you going to this show? And so that helps as well.
Well, we're going to hear a track here in just a second that you wrote for Amy. But I wanted to ask, has choosing to stay in a learning mindset changed how you approach growth in other areas of your life? You're really talking about discipline, and I love that. How has this approach affected other areas?
I hadn't thought about that, but I believe it has. I definitely, probably at work, it may have changed some of how I operate. But I think the two kind of have commingled. But I don't know. I think I always have kind of had a student mindset and always wanted to read and learn and do that side of whatever I was doing. If it was a hobby or a career or now music, understanding things is important to me. And I think that mindset has helped me grow in my retail career, but it's also helped me grow in my music career.
John wrote this next song for his wife, Amy, and you can really hear that lived-in kind of love in every note. It's tender, it's beautiful, and it reminds us why we do what we do. Here is Love is Sweet.
Well, I was feeling down, feeling kind of low. A tough day at work, it was time to go. But I found a smile when our song came on the radio, and I started to sing along, and I couldn't wait to get home, 'cause your love is so sweet, like honeysuckle on the vine. It's so sweet, like honey straight from the hive, like jasmine in the summertime, or tasting that muscadine wine. It's so sweet. Walking through the door, smelling your perfume. Love fills the air to when we first met. Right then and there I knew that I found where I belong. Now home will always be with you. Your love is so sweet, like honeysuckle on the vine. It's so sweet, like honey straight from the hive, like jasmine in the summertime, or tasting that muscadine wine. It's so sweet. Your love is so sweet. Well, they say home is where your heart is. My heart belongs to you. And home, sweet home, has never been so sweet. Love has never been more true. Your love is so sweet, like honeysuckle on the vine. It's so sweet, like honey straight from the hive, like jasmine in the summertime, or tasting that muscadine wine. It's so sweet. Your love is so sweet. It's like honeysuckle on the vine. Oh, holding your hand in mine. Your love is so sweet. Yeah, it's so sweet.
Oh, John, what a sweet song. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's another special one to me. And it actually, to let people know, when I was last year taking lessons with you, you challenged me to write a song about something sweet. And I just couldn't think of anything sweeter than to write about than the love of my wife, Amy.
Oh, and she is a precious person. Now, she's in retail management as well, isn't she?
She is. So that presents some other challenges, but two retail schedules and juggling music, but she does a great job with it.
That's awesome. So how many children do you have? How many grandchildren?
So I have two daughters, Rebecca and Caroline, and Rebecca, she graduated from Auburn University with an RN and got married and had our first grandchild. And now she's expecting our second granddaughter.
Oh, congratulations. So that adds to the schedule as well, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then Caroline is, she's a junior at Auburn now studying finance, and she's got a full schedule there. So, yeah, it's just more irons in the fire, so to speak.
So how is the rivalry going from University of Alabama and Auburn? How is that working out for your family?
I think probably them being girls, it probably softens the blow a little bit, because they're not super huge sports fans, although they do love Auburn. But I kind of grew up with that. Actually, my dad went to school at Auburn. He got his doctorate in chemistry from Auburn, and we lived there for several years when I was growing up. That's where the kindergarten was that I first performed, was in Auburn. And then his job, when I was in third grade, his job moved us to Tuscaloosa. That's how we ended up there. But so I grew up kind of with both sides of the Auburn-Alabama rivalry. But yeah, no, I wasn't. I was an Auburn fan when I lived in Auburn, then moved to Tuscaloosa, and you just about can't live in Tuscaloosa, or at least not back then, and not be an Alabama fan.
There you go. Well, you're passionate about independent country music. What do you love about being in that space right now?
Gosh, I tell you, it's everybody is so supportive, and a lot of creative people, a lot of hardworking people, and just so helpful and friendly. I see. If I ever start kind of feeling like a little bit frustrated or anything, I go to one of these open mics or online forums, and everybody's so great that and so good to me. It just makes you want to try that much harder. I met these two guys this week. They've got a band called No Chaser, Zach and Corey, and they're younger guys, and God, they just loved my songs. They loved my music, and they're great. And that's just when you see somebody you like and you respect what they're doing, and they like your stuff. It just makes it great. And I think that's what I've found in this independent community, and also a lot of support from independent radio stations. There's a lot of online radio stations. One big one on iHeartRadio that I've kind of connected with, and they've been playing my songs, and so it's a pretty cool space.
That's wonderful. Yeah, connection and community is everything for sure in all kinds of industries. We hear a lot about AI music creation. How do you feel about that? We're in a world where technology can imitate a sound or a style. Do you think the human element still matters?
I think it does. And I think, I believe what AI will continue to do is make that human element more important, because I believe people want authenticity. People want real life, and now AI can imitate that, and you can hear it on the radio or see it on the screen. But I think, at least for now, AI can't show up in person and communicate with people, and I think that's where the authenticity is going to win out in the end. It's a really sore subject right now, especially in the independent artist arena, because there are a lot of super talented lyricists that they don't feel confident singing, and they don't play an instrument. Well, now those people can go to an AI program and create an entire song and call it their song. And I guess in some ways it is. But then, the other side of the coin is the people who still do play instruments and still do sing and write their own songs. And I think some of those people kind of feel a little bit cheated, that especially when, gosh, I saw a performance on Facebook, a video on Facebook, a cool sounding country song, and had a female country artist singing it. And so I just clicked to see, who they were. And this person had like 4 million followers. And you scroll down and it clearly says, this is an AI generated artist. And I'm like, how does a completely fake computer artist have 4 million followers, and I'm scratching to get to 2,000? So it's I don't know. It's definitely having an impact on the music world. That's for sure.
Well, and I think it shows the fickleness of people
Right.
as well.
Right.
Some people don't care, and they just want to feel a moment. They want to feel good,
Right.
or feel an emotion, or feel a need in the moment, and that meets that need. And because we're human and we're need based in a lot of ways. And I know with the AI, a lot of people have been doing this trend where you create a caricature about your job, and that's been a trend on Facebook
Right.
past couple of weeks. And then you have the people making the comments that, oh, you guys are using AI to create these, and don't you know that it's depleting our water supply, because these data centers require water to keep the computers cool, and unfortunately the water, after it has to be drinking water, clean water, but when the water comes out, it's undrinkable. And so there's a lot of upheaval about the use of AI, but I think they need to maybe find a better way to do data centers, and that's going to be an issue. And as far as music, I have a musician friend, and he posted, he said, studio time is expensive.
Right.
Having your song produced in a real studio is expensive. Of course, then those people get put out of a job if you use AI. But he said, I played all the tracks. I created the lyrics. I sang into it. I just had AI help me with the production part and fill out the music. People
Right.
were really dogging him about that. So it's like, where's the line?
Yeah, I agree. And I think, one thing I think is essential is just integrity. I mean, if you used AI to help in whatever way, just be transparent about it. I think that disarms some people. But the challenge is, and I was actually with a sound engineer in Nashville, and we were talking about this subject, and he told me a story about a friend of his when AI first started getting big. A friend of his was in the studio, and he's like, "Watch this," and he pulled up an AI program, and he's like, "Write me a song about a girl in a pickup truck riding down a dirt road drinking a Dr. Pepper, and make it in the style of Hank Williams Jr." And in a couple of minutes, a full, complete band sounding song comes out of this AI program. And that's the danger of it, is now you don't even have to be a songwriter. You can just have a concept and describe it to AI, and it'll make a complete song. And so I think that's where there's got to be some kind of gatekeeping. It reminds me too of I was at the QT station here the other day, and they've got this new robot that cleans their floors, that runs around all over the little shop the whole time cleaning the floors. And I guess it was pretty new, and a couple of employees were standing around watching it and kind of talking about how cool it was. And I wanted to tell them, like, last week when I was in here, one of you was mopping the floor. Now this robot's doing it. So guess what? They don't need you anymore. And I think that's what the fear is from, musicians and singers, songwriters, everybody, sound engineers, is AI going to take their job? Is it going to replace the need for musicians in a studio, or a sound engineer in a studio? And I think that's where we've got to really figure this thing out.
Well, and I think there's something good about learning to mop a floor. There's something good about learning to use your brain to write a good song, a good commercial quality song, rhyme scheme and form and arrangement. And if you cheat yourself, going back to the phrase you used earlier, I liked that. It's you're cheating yourself out of the joy of doing the job. And I know mopping a floor may not be joyful, but my mother loved mopping a floor. She loved to sweep. Using AI as a tool. I'm not against it, but I don't want it to be a crutch or to do something that you could do for yourself.
Right.
Because I do believe that there is value in learning to write a good song and learning how to play well. And if you allow AI to do the music for you, then you're cheating yourself out of that gift.
Yeah, and I think too that if you think, I'm sure when the camera was invented, that people who drew hand painted portraits were like, "Oh my gosh, this camera is going to take our job." And maybe it did some, but then you still see people that paint portraits nowadays, and there's all kinds of technology that could do the same thing for them. So I think hopefully that remnant will remain in the music industry as well, where there'll always be an opportunity and need for that human touch.
Absolutely. So let's change gears a little bit. This is the quick fire section that we always do. What is one song you never skip?
There's a bunch, but I would have to say probably "Sweet Home Alabama," just because of my this connection to the song growing up in Alabama, and also being a big fan of Leonard Skinner when they were still the original band. I think that was an early part of my musical taste was that Southern rock sound, and I think it still is today. So yeah, can't pass that one up.
Okay, favorite pizza topping? Got to
be pepperoni, right? I mean, you can't have a pizza without pepperoni on it. I don't think, not a good one anyway.
So are you a guy that thinks pineapple on a pizza is a cardinal sin?
No, I've eaten pineapple on a pizza. Actually, I worked at a pizza restaurant when I was in college for a little while, and it was pretty cool. They were really creative, and had a lot of. They had actually had dessert pizzas and breakfast pizzas. So I kind of I'm open to just about anything except a sardine on a pizza.
Okay, there we go. Me too. So, which is a harder challenge, mastering a difficult vocal run or surviving Black Friday morning at Dillard's?
Well, I would have to say the more challenging thing is a vocal run. I've done retail so long now, I can manage it with my eyes closed, I feel like, but I'm still learning music. I'm still learning how to grow vocally.
So, what's the most inconvenient place you've ever had a song lyric pop into your head? Bonus points if it was during a serious budget meeting.
Definitely happens all the time at work. Something I see or just something I hear, song lyric pops in, and I hopefully I have the opportunity when that happens to step away to someplace private and at least type it into my phone, if not sing it into my phone, because gosh, I'm sure those song lyrics, those song ideas, they're just fleeting. I've learned if I don't get them down somewhere, they just go away.
Yes, absolutely. I've woken up in the middle of the night and had to write something down or type something in my phone because it came to me in a dream.
Absolutely.
It's great. And it does. It just evaporates if you don't write it down immediately.
Yep.
So which is a more serious offense? Someone putting a UT sticker on your car or a customer trying to return a clearly worn prom dress?
Definitely UT sticker on the car would would be the worst offense. But although now making friends in Nashville and visiting there, I've kind of learned to lay off the Tennessee hatred, I guess. And it's better now. I like Tennessee's coach now, and they've got a different tenor to their program, so that helps too.
So if someone is listening right now who has a dream they've never stopped loving but hasn't really invested in yet, what would you encourage them to do?
Start. I think that you got to start. It's never too late. I've learned that, and I'm trying to communicate that, and as part of my message in my music career is that whatever it is, whatever your dream is, just do it. Just go after it. What do you have to lose? And what I've found is I think if you can dream it and you can believe it, you can achieve it. And so that's the message I would have for anybody.
So along that same line, what would you say to someone who has a guitar and some songs that are tucked away in a journal? What should be their first step? You know what?
I think probably reach out to the community and try and find somebody that can help you develop your ideas. Take some lessons, vocal lessons, guitar lessons, something to I guess put fuel to the fire, so to speak.
So what's next for you? What's coming up?
So pretty cool. I'm actually headed back to Nashville the end of this month. The 21st, I'm playing a private party for some friends up there, and then on the 22nd, I'm playing at the Commodore Grill for their songwriter rounds, and then on the 23rd, playing at a place called Alley Taps, another songwriters round for a group called the Nash Bash Collective. And cool thing there, I'm going to be playing alongside our good friend Mike Kennebrew, so I'm excited to do that.
That's great. So where can people find you? Give us all your social media handles.
Gosh, well, just look up John McDuffie on Facebook, Instagram. It's John McDuffie Music, and TikTok as John McDuffie as well. And you can find me on YouTube and certainly Spotify, Pandora, any streaming service. I have 4 singles out now, a 5th one on the way shortly, and 2 more that I'm just finishing up. So that's the goal, is to one, complete enough songs this year to call it an album. But then also in the middle of this, I've had another inspiration that it kind of came about just watching other people play or going to see people play in some of the bars and restaurants, and there's a guy up there super talented, and he's playing his heart out, and nobody's paying attention. They're shooting pool, or they're having a conversation or they're watching a football game. And you've got this super talented guy pouring his heart out. And so that inspired a song that I call Guitar Man, that I've got the music done to it. Just got to get the vocal finished up. And what my vision is, I want to turn that into a 4 or 5 song EP, and called Guitar Man, and all the songs be themed around this now imaginary guy that's in my head and his life.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that with us. Well, thank you for sharing your story and your music today, John. It's been a gift having you here. We covered a lot today, from the high-pressure world of retail leadership to the vulnerability of writing songs that really mean something. You've shown us that whether you're managing a team through Black Friday or honing your craft in Nashville, pursuing a dream with intention doesn't have an expiration date. It's about that Tuscaloosa grit, that sweet home Alabama spirit, and the heart you pour into every note. To wrap things up, we're going to go out with a track that captures that exact energy, the hope, the hustle, and the drive to keep showing up. Thanks, John, for being here today.
Thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate it.
Well, here is John McDuffie with his song, American Dream.
Well, my back hurts and I'm late for work. My truck don't want to crank. Between inflation and rent, my paycheck spent before it even hits the bank. Yeah, they come on TV and they try to tell me the economy is doing great. But Uncle Sam and that newsman will lie right to your face. 'Cause they tax my pay, they tax everything, Lord. They tax and me to death. The more I make, the more they take, and the deeper I go in debt. Scratching and clawing and trying to get by, and the politicians just don't care. The American dream these days, it seems, has turned into a nightmare. Well, I'm working 3 jobs, trying to get by, but I can't seem to get ahead. As it stands, my retirement plan is working on till I'm dead. Yeah, the harder I try to win at life, the more I get nowhere. And it seems to me there's no in between. You're either broke or you're a millionaire. And I ain't no millionaire. 'Cause they tax my pay, they tax everything, Lord. They tax and me to death. The more I make, the more they take, and the deeper I go in debt. Scratching and clawing and trying to get by, and the politicians just don't care. The American dream these days, it seems, has turned into a nightmare. Don't get me wrong when you hear this song. It ain't about politics. 'Cause I don't care about left or right. I just want a little more of my paycheck. A house on a hill, a couple of kids, a dog and a loving wife, a front porch swing, just living the dream, working out a 9 to 5. No, it ain't perfect in the USA, but it's the best place I've found. Keeping my head above water and trying not to drown. 'Cause they tax my pay, they tax everything, Lord. They tax and me to death. The more I make, the more they take, and the deeper I go in debt. Scratching and clawing and trying to survive, but at least I'm living free. The
You've been listening to The Heather Petero Show, produced by Heather Petero Studios. Connect with us on Facebook or Instagram, or visit heatherpetero.com. Until next time, stay creative and live on purpose.